Well, and just in terms of normalizing everything, you talked about the CNN report about the 7-hour gap in the White House logs. Nameless Trump sources who, surprise, claim everything's fine because Trump never really logged his calls and was distracted a lot. So, okay, that's, perfectly normal, not a crime at all, right?
Yeah, and this is a day after the CNN used unnamed Republican stories to hype a big Hunter Biden story. So you can connect all the dots. It's not a conspiracy. I'm just pointing out the facts that they're constantly, framing the news through a Republican perspective, and that CNN piece. This was their big scoop. Oh, we talked to all the Trump people. The phone logs were really there. Well, okay, the phones weren't logged like they were supposed to be, but they were kind of still there, and we did things our own way. So
By the way, can I just another tweet that relates to yours? Somebody tweeted in a huge loss for Republican senators Tom Cotton, Ted Cruz, Lindsey Graham, and Josh Hawley. Officials from the American Bar Association testify at Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson's hearings that all of their accusations against her are false. Yeah. And as you tweeted, hearings were a political debacle for the GOP, but have you seen one piece regarding how they might damage the GOP in the midterms? I have not. For the press, only Democrats face midterm hurdles.
Yeah, and that was based on a poll last week that, there's polling data about those hearings, and it was a debacle for the Republican. And, American people, and most, minus the Trump crazies, are decent, open-minded people, and they saw that as, we're going to have a first black woman on the Supreme Court. This is a good thing for our country. And the Republican Party just looked at that and said, over our dead body. So it was a debacle for the Republican Party, but that's not how it's portrayed. NBC, Meet the Press had a poll yesterday on choice and abortion, and who would you support in Congress? Independents, 10%. Would support a candidate who wanted to overturn Roe v. Wade. That's a debacle for the Republican Party in terms of midterm. We had a Republican Party the days before the invasion of Ukraine was toasting Putin. Trump called the invasion genius. That's a political debacle for the Republican Party. Yeah. None of this is discussed in political terms. None of this is just, there is no coverage that the Republicans might be creating problems for themselves in midterms. Only Democrats can be creating problems.
Sidebar, counselor, you said it's telling that Glenn Greenwald has stopped tweeting about the war in Ukraine.
Yeah.
Is it because his beloved Russian troops are now carrying out mass executions? And
now Tulsi has suddenly switched.
Yes. Oh, my God. Tulsi's on the side of good suddenly. Okay. Eric, also real quick, just because speaking of midterms, oh my God, the punditry that Republicans have already won, that it's all over. CBS cites that for hiring Mick Mulvaney, and you retweeted someone that said CBS hired Mulvaney because they want access if Trump's reelected. As we've seen, access journalism is not real journalism. It's stenography. It's embracing information. It's inherently biased and misleading. So the guy that helped Trump extort Ukraine is a new CBS analyst, right?
And the point that person made in their tweet was, this isn't about the midterms. They want access to Trump too. You don't need access when, so if people followed last week, the head of CBS News said, we got to hire Republican contributors because, Republicans are going to win the House. So we need access. There's no news organization on the planet has problem getting access to House Republicans. That's not a thing. What they really want is access to Trump too, because they think he might be president again, and so they want his old cabinet members. And it's just so cynical and disgraceful. And Margaret Sullivan had a really good piece in the Post.
We're over as always, but real quick, I just have to say, Herschel Walker, you just said he never graduated from college. He for years told crowds he graduated the top 1% of his college class. CNN claims Walker overstated his academic achievements. You said this is why journalism is broken today. What does the GOP learn from Trump? You can lie about anything, and the press will never call you a liar. That's how
if you're a Republican, again, just real quick, he was telling people he graduated in the top 1%, and he never graduated. And CNN won't call that a lie because we're just doing this whole blanket thing for the entire Republican Party. Fabrications, falsehoods, overstating. It's a problem for sure.
You are the way, the truth, and the light. All right, Eric, see you next week.